Alright, our tile is nice and dry, and I'm going to start with this center section here, and I'm going to fill it in with a Zentangle called Purk. It's one of the original Zentangles by Rick and Maria. And you first lay down these ribbon-like shapes all along the length of the section that you choose, leaving a nice gap between each of these ribbon-like sections. And it's okay. It adds some sort of dimension if your ribbon-like section sort of bumps into the color next door. I'm going to go ahead and draw in some orbs. And take your time as you're drawing. It's okay if your orbs sort of bump into and over a little bit that ribbon section that you drew. My orbs are quite large today. That's okay. Interesting to see. And then I'm going to draw orbs that are sort of like tucked in behind that first orb to fill in the right side. And it's okay over here if your orb sort of, like I said, bumps into the color next door. It's also okay if you want to add some maybe smaller orbs. It's up to you. You're the artist. You get to choose. Whatever you feel looks good there. So continue on with this idea of drawing to the right side of that first orb. I'm going to flip my tile and then draw on the right side of the orb again. You know, tomorrow is Easter Sunday. These do kind of look like eggs. Maybe I'm channeling my inner Easter Sunday. I was thinking earlier about how I used to color eggs with my sisters when I was younger. This is maybe my ode to Easter. There we go. Alright, so we have these little sections right here, these sort of gaps between the ribbon and these orbs. And I'm going to go ahead and color in these gaps. The geometric term for these gaps is interstices. So I'm going to be coloring in my interstices. It makes it look as if there's a little bit of a shadow back there. Once I'm all done drawing with my Micron pen, I'll go ahead and come back later to do all of the shading and add any sort of highlights I would like. But for now, I'm just going to satisfy myself with drawing with my pen. I see this little area right here. I kind of want to add a smaller orb there. Anywhere else I want to add a smaller orb? Nope, I think I'm satisfied. So that is the Zentangle called Purk. The next tangle pattern that I would like to work with is called Well, and it's a grid pattern. So I'm going to start by drawing my vertical lines that would be in my grid, and the horizontal lines will be the edges of this section itself. Inside of these I will put an orb, and I like to color it in. I'm going to leave a little section white or whatever the background color is at this moment. It makes it look like there's a little bit of a shine there. Alrighty. Okay. So I'm going to go to this corner, and I'm going to take off from this corner, and then I'm going to land onto my little orb. Do the same in each of these sections. Take off from the corner, and then gently land onto your orb. Take off and land. There's no corner here, so I'm just going to make one up. There we go. Why not? I'm going to shift my tile just a little bit so I can take off from this corner now, and just with the same direction, the same type of stroke, take off and land. Take off and land. Take off and land. Now in this case, I'm drawing each square section using the same direction of my curve. However, you can play with that. You can alternate the direction of your curve for each square. It's up to you again, you're the artist. Alright, and take off from this corner and curve. Take off and land. Take off and land. And again, there's no corner. Well, there's a little corner there, I guess. There we go. Alright, cool. Alright. So then for each of these sections, I'm going to take off from the corner again and curve in the opposite direction, tucking my end right into this little corner here, making like a seed shape. There we go. Alright, let's go to the next corner. Curve to the other side and make my seed shape. Go to the next corner. Take off and land. Take off and land. There we go. And to our last corner. Okay, got all of our seed shapes in there. Now, I like to add, there's already this vertical line in here that we put in when we drew our grids. And so I like to fill in those sections with more vertical lines. it sort of camouflages the grid pattern, the grid shape, and makes it look like, oh, I just meant to fill it in with vertical lines here. That's just what I wanted the background to look like. And it also, in darkening that background a little bit, it also highlights those seed shapes a little bit more. I like to take my time on these vertical lines. If you go too fast, I tend to begin or end in such a way that I'm drawing my line into the seed shape, and then my drawing just looks a little sloppy. So I try to take my time. And then on the gaps here, I'm also going to draw some lines in there, but going in the opposite direction. Always make sure as you're drawing that you're taking nice, calm, steady breaths. Sometimes I tend to hold my breath, or I find that my breathing's a little bit shallow. So every once in a while I like to remind myself, all right, let's continue to breathe while we draw. There we go. Just slow down with my lines a little bit. There we go. I love the way the watercolor background plays with the lines. At one point, I want to do some watercolors and use a brown Pigma Micron. I think that would, maybe if I did some very like organic type patterns, it would give it more of a gentle feel. And anything else I want to add? I think I want to add a little bit of like a little flick there in all of my little seed shapes. Let's go to my next seeds. There we go, a little flick. Just a little detail that, I don't know, I tend to like. And sometimes people add like a dot at the end of their flick. I don't feel like I want to add a dot today, but it's definitely an option out there. Alright, so there's my pattern, the Zentangle pattern called Well. Alright, the next pattern I'm going to work with is called Diva Dance. It's going to start off with a rather wiggly line, and I'm going to darken in a few bumps onto that line. Now, how many bumps you put in and where you put them in is totally up to you. So again, you're the artist. You get to make that choice. And I'm going to, I guess, first fill in the left side. So first, I'm going to draw another line and aura this first line, meaning I'm going to draw a line that should sort of, theoretically, be equally distant from that first line the entire way down. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. sometimes imperfection is what causes the most beauty in art. But just do your best and take your time. And remember, it's about the process. I think I'm satisfied with just that one bump. So I'm going to add in another Auraline. And as you'll see at one point, these Auralines are going to have to go behind that first pattern that we did, the Purk. I'm going to add a bump right here. And maybe one right back here that goes behind Purk a little bit. There we go. Alright, let's sneak in, I think, one or two more Auralines before we move to the right side. I think we can get, maybe bump that out right there. Yeah. Alright, so now I'm going to work to the right side. I'm going to add in Auraline. Taking my time. We're in no rush. We have nowhere else to be. Nothing else to be doing but enjoying this one line right here. And where should I add my bumps? I feel like right here needs a bump. So I'm just going to like, boop, put a little bump in right there. Color it in. Now the shapes of your bumps are totally up to you. I kind of want one at the end here. There we go. Okay. Now I want to do something a little sneaky. I'm going to draw an Auraline, but as I draw my Auraline, I'm going to have like a little muca-like curve in my Auraline. And I'm going to let it sneak into the color next door and then come back. So let's see. Let's draw this Auraline. But it's going to want, I think, to sneak into the next color. Now, I think I like a little bit of a bulb. Yeah. And then coming right back to aura-ing again. There we go. Let's add some bumps. I think I want a little one here. And again, I think I want to put a little one right at the end. Now when I add my next aura, I'm going to go behind that sneaky little curve. Just go behind it. Alright, where shall I add? Where shall I add my bumps? I feel like right here needs a big bump. Yeah, like that. I really love taking the time to ink in, especially when you have a new Pigma Micron pen. It feels so luxurious to ink in all of this beautiful black ink. I think, do I want a bump there? No, I think I'm going to leave it until the next time. Alright, let's draw our next Auraline. Let's go behind that sneaky little curve. Okay, and now I will add, I think, my bump there. Yeah, and I kind of like a bump right here. Okay, we've got a little bit more space to put in another Auraline or two. Let's go behind. There we go. And in a bump right there. And I think we can sneak a little bit of aura there. Looking good. So that's my Diva Dance with one sneaky little curve coming right on out into the next color next door.